Hi, good afternoon. This is Michael with Coleman and Company. Once again, I am standing next to the GEMfix cutter 60XC, the most popular size cutter in the GEMfix line. We are going to cover today blade replacement. Why would I want to replace my blade? What tells me to do that? Basically, if your machine cuts on a scale of 1 to 10, you're always cutting a 10. If all of a sudden the grade starts to cut lower and you're starting to get cuts of a 9 quality or a 7, whatever you feel is different than the norm, it may just be as simple as changing the blade. Some blades that you will get in your kit, you will get one of these when you buy. We also have them available at Coleman and Company on the same page where the cutter is. Excellent blade, but hey, let's face it, sometimes quality on a blade may not be visible to the eye, but it may not cut as many cuts as the blade before it. So if you get a negative feeling on how the cuts are coming across, let's change the blade. Now, very simply, we're going to do a couple of parts of this video. This is part 1, introduction. Right here on the end of the large silver bar here, there are 2 on each side, 2 hex head screws on each side, the ones that are on top of the plate. We are going to start removing these. Now, this is going to take me a minute, so we're not going to let you see that boring part, but we will be back in a moment and show you the good stuff. Hi, welcome back. We have removed the screws. There are 2 on each side. This is just a typical hex head screw with a 3mm Allen. So we're going to place these aside so we don't lose them. Now our next goal is to remove this large plate, and what you're going to do is just simply lift it off, and it is attached with air hoses. Very thin, very, I don't want to say fragile, but you definitely don't want to mess with them too much. Now what I like to do is just put it up on the roller here so that I'm not stressing out the air hoses and I'm staying away from the blade. So once it's in place, we're going to focus back down on the blade assembly and replace those blades. Okay, now this is the star of the show. This is the blade assembly. This blade assembly obviously moves back and forth during the cutting process, but right now it's on our left side. We're going to remove these 2 screws, and we don't have to remove them, we basically have to loosen them. Same size Allen key. Now it's holding the left side blade and the right side blade. This is essentially the blade that's in this package. This blade is long. We're going to snap it in 2 places. What you're going to want to see is there's going to be 4 separated notches here. That's the length of the blade, and you want to match it on the other side. So, oh, look at that. And I just cut my skin. This is very sharp, so don't do that. With that being said, we're going to start loosening this up right now, and we're going to remove these blades. So just get your 3mm Allen key and just give them a slight turn. And you want to loosen them maybe a full turn. That's all you really need to do. You don't need to go too crazy. So we're just loosening up the back plate by turning this key. Now at this moment, they're loose enough to come out. Now look how they went in. They went in like a wedge shape. They didn't go in like this. They didn't go in like that. You want the top 2 areas to almost mate up. You want them to be mated just like so, making a wedge, like a wide arrowhead. Okay? So now, here's the next fun part. We're going to let these sit aside right here. We're going to pull out the next blade out of your assembly, and it's a long blade, and you are going to match up where they snap. So I'm going to pull this one off right here, and I'm going to take a little pair of needle nose, and I'm just going to snap it in half, just like that. So that'll be 1 blade for me, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the next one. 4 pieces, just like you see. So we're going to snap the next one. And this, who knows what you can do with it? I throw it away. But now we've got 2 fresh blades, and what you're going to do is you're going to put them in place so that they match up right at the top. You know, this is going to be one of those tedious type of little things that you just have to learn how to do one-handed. And then once you get them in place, they can move slightly, so that's when you tighten them up. So I'm just going to get them straight so that that top edge, now right now the right side is up a little higher. We're going to lift the left up and see if we can't match it. And that's all we're doing. We're just trying to make a nice tight wedge. Just like so. And at this moment, they're not overlapped. You don't have one overlapping the other. They are in line with each other, and you need to make sure that you give them a nice tightening. Don't want them to move for any reason. We're just about finished. We have a nice angle on them. And folks, that's how you replace the blade assembly. And the only thing left to do is to put the lid back on. So we're going to pull the camera back for a moment and we'll be back. Last thing to do, put the lid back on. Now remember, you have a very thin window here, a very thin slot. It needs to go on top of this blade and not basically damage the blade. So the other thing of importance is the air hoses. The air hoses, both sides, have to stay behind this silver bar, not touch the blade, obviously, and they're going to be tucked in. So I like to start on whatever side the blade is on, and I put the opposite side down, looking underneath to make sure that the hoses are nice and out of the way, and then bring the blade down into the slot. And you're going to reinstall the screws just like you took them out. And that is it, folks. I don't need to bore you with the tightening of these 4 screws, but you just successfully replaced your blade assembly for your GEMfix, and you'll be good to cut again. Have a good day.